Hi, my name is Alexis Sklarevsky, and welcome to the slap bass program from Video Progressions. Now on this tape we're going to work with some fundamental techniques and later on turn them into some fairly complex bass parts. Now I think it's a good idea if you spend a lot of time learning licks off of records or tapes, but a lot of people seem to have a problem because they learn small pieces of ideas and they can never really seem to put the whole thing together. So what we're going to do here is give you a good solid foundation, and then you'll be able to take some of those ideas and turn them into creative bass parts of your own. Now I'm going to be playing a lot of variations and there's a lot of information, so I really suggest that you take your time and make as many notes as you have to until you get it down really solid. And I guarantee that by the end of the program you'll have some new ideas, maybe some better ways of looking at old ones, and definitely some good chops. Now the most important concept that I'd like to talk about in this style of playing is the idea of time feel. Now playing with good time means that you develop a strong, accurate pulse in your playing. And basically it means that you don't speed up and you don't slow down. Now the idea of playing with good feel means that even if you're playing a bass part at a certain tempo, you can interpret it several different ways. For instance, if you're going to play a 16th note groove, it's going to sound like that, or if you're going to play a shuffle, it's going to sound like a shuffle. Now, one of the most important things I think that you should do is to always practice with a metronome or a drum machine. And I think this is really important because later on when you start playing more syncopated lines, more complex lines, and you start playing with the time, you're not going to get thrown off. You'll be used to using it. Okay, now before we go any further, let's take a minute and get tuned up. Okay, we're going to start this tape off by working on some right-hand techniques. And what we're going to do is a series of exercises to develop the slap and pop motion in your right hand. So we're not going to use any notes, and what I'd like you to do is to just wrap your left hand around the neck of the guitar so that all the strings are muted. Now your right hand should be positioned so that your thumb will make contact with the string either right on the neck, right here, or just a little bit in front of the neck so that you get a good solid click coming out. And the pluck is going to be the natural reverse of that, which is to hit down with your thumb and pull out with this finger, with your first finger. So this is going to be the motion for this. Now you should try and use this part of your thumb right in there to make contact with the string, and then when you do your pluck, just on that part of your first finger. Right under there. And try not to get it too far under because otherwise it's going to slow you down. So that's the motion. And on the A and G string, nice and solid. Now in doing this exercise, your arm doesn't have to come far off the bass. What you really want to develop is a nice wrist snap. So as your forearm is coming down, your wrist is going to snap down onto the string with your thumb. And then the pluck is going to be the release of that. So try and keep the arm motion, the actual arm motion, down to a minimum. Now there's a couple of good exercises that you can do in order to develop this technique, and one is to play octave patterns in your right hand. So we're going to play some and just mute the strings of your bass with your left hand, and now with your right hand just play the E and the D string and then the A and the G string. So we're just going to play an octave right hand pattern without using any notes, which is basically this. Then moving up and moving back. Now you should try and keep these notes nice and consistent, keep the time nice and straight so that you can develop some sort of rhythmical motion with your right hand, and it should feel pretty natural. There are several variations that you can do on the thumb and pluck patterns. One is to play a 16th note pattern with thumb pluck thumb, and the thumb pluck thumb pattern is thumb pluck thumb. And then when you just speed it up a little bit, and then again moving to the A and G strings. Now you'll notice that my thumb is not coming far off the neck, just enough to give it a snap. Try and keep a real strong wrist motion happening, and not so much full arm motion. This will give you the most control. So there we have a thumb pluck thumb. Now